Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
And love each day, because this week we recommend The Descent. So, I want to know, how many caves have you explored, Jason?
Oh, one.
Just one?
Yeah, well, I've been in several, but really only explored one, and this movie gave me bad memories of it.
Yeah. I remember there was one time that me and a couple of buddies, we were just out in the woods exploring, just on these trails, and we saw a cave. We're like, let's go in. As soon as we got in, then we got further enough in. I was kind of further back. Like, y'all remember the movie The Descent? They're like, shut up. We don't talk about that.
No, the part where they're in the really tight space, the cave I went to was outside of Sparta, Tennessee, and there's one area, they call it the mud room, because it's really small, and being a bigger person, you're just, half of your body is in mud, and you gotta like keep your head above water while you crawl through this space that's like,
screw that, man.
Barely big enough for your body, and the bottom half is with mud. Oh, it was terrifying.
It's I would never go in a cave where I have to do that. Like, if I can't stand up and walk around, because I've been to Mammoth Cave, like Rock City in Tennessee, but any cave where I'm like, oh, you have to get on your hands and knees or just lay flat and you have to crawl. Or also might be water that your face is going to go into. It's like,
gross.
no, thank you.
It sucks.
I wouldn't even, like, in this movie, I wouldn't even made it down that hole. I'd be like, oh, wait, excuse me? Like, how do we get back up again?
Yeah.
Like, if we can't go any further because of some freak accident, can we get back up there?
You have to climb out or use, I guess they have this thing called ascenders, to help you go up.
I'm assuming, like, they just hook themselves in and they can just kind of crawl up or, like, pull themselves up. But I couldn't do that. I'd be tired halfway up.
Yeah, it's very tiring, and they're all in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I think.
They're adrenaline junkies, except for one of the girls. It seems, I mean, she's just an English teacher. So the film came out in 2005. When was the first time you saw it? What was your experience with it?
I probably saw it in around 2010.
Oh, okay.
I saw it before I joined the military.
Gotcha. Prepared you for the military.
No. I think it's kind of like a Halloween thing. We watched like the Sphere, and we watched this. And
watch the what?
Sphere.
Sphere? I've never heard of that one.
That's pretty cool.
Or maybe I have. I don't know.
It's got LL Cool J and like.
Oh snap! Now I gotta watch it. LL Cool J rules. So I saw this for the first time. It was just me and my girlfriend at the time. I think it was like 08 or 09. I can't remember. But she wasn't big into horror movies. And I was like, oh, let's watch this one. It might not be that scary because I didn't know anything about The Descent. It's like, it might be I don't know. I've never really heard anybody talk about it that much. Not a lot of movie guys in high school when I went up. So I was like, okay, let's just watch it. It'd probably be pretty easy for her to handle. Dude, I made a horrible mistake because I just ended up having to put on one of the scariest movies ever made, I feel like. And it's just wild, like, how effective this movie is. It's kind of like The Exorcist, where it's like how effective they are with the making you feel really bad for the girl and like the parents. This one, it does a really good job making you feel claustrophobic.
Yes.
And like, the monster stuff was cool, it was great, and like the violence in it was great. But it was the parts where I was like sinking into my couch was just them going through a hole, being their face in water.
Yeah.
And then when old girl gets stuck, I was like,
that's the most terrifying thing.
I want to die. I just want to die. I feel so bad for this girl. I don't know. I wouldn't have the guts to do something like this though. I'd just be like, I don't know. And like, could you imagine getting stuck in a cave like that?
No, I'm just too big. I'm just
Yeah.
a big boy.
You just be like, I don't know, guys.
Leave it to the small people.
I'm just gonna stay in this big opening. Y'all come get me later. When y'all find a way out, just holler at me.
Yeah, that's what happened. We went to Rose Cave in the Virgin Falls Wilderness area, and it had all like glowing shit on the walls. It was super cool.
Like the phosphorus type
Yeah,
stuff
like
that they're talking about? Well,
right.
or just the slag type?
It was like I don't know what it was. Either it was some kind of like silkworm
Oh,
or
yeah,
like
duh.
something, but
That's
it was
right.
all over the walls, and it was like super sweet. But my friends wanted to go explore further in the cave. I was like, "Fuck no, I'll stay here." And
It's
I
like, no, it's
stayed.
good.
I stayed and smoked a joint, and like had a much better time.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah, it's like, I'm just going to see a bunch of colors all high. You know, it's going to get wild.
But they went in further, and they found a discarded prison jumpsuit in there.
Whoa.
Like an orange jumpsuit with numbers on the back.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
I wonder if that was like a real jumpsuit or someone's like, this is going to be hella funny if someone finds this later.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Man, just want to escape a prison and just live in a cave, you know?
Yeah.
It probably just went further in the cave and got lost and stuck. And if you kept going, you might have found a skeleton.
It became a crawler.
Yeah, exactly. So this film is directed by Neil Marshall. I'm going to name off some things. Let's see if have you ever seen Dog Soldiers?
Nope.
He directed it. That one rules. I was actually thinking maybe to recommend that after this movie. And I was like, it's the same director. I didn't know that.
That's kind of cool.
Because it's a werewolf movie.
Oh, it's not like dogs with helmets on?
No, that would have been, that's the Pixar version.
Cute.
It's a movie where you have, so there's these army people that kind of get chased by some werewolves, and they get stuck in this house. So they have to essentially, these army guys have to fight their way away from these werewolves.
Really cool.
Yeah, no, it rules, man. He also did the movie Doomsday. You've seen that one? I watched a little bit of it. It was all right.
I don't think so.
The newest Hellboy, he also did that.
Cool.
I haven't watched it. And then he was the executive producer for the new Lost in Space movie or show.
Nice.
I was like, oh, I didn't know this guy was still out here. I mean, really, this Dog Soldiers and this is about it. I mean, in terms of his really good stuff.
He likes darkness.
He likes darkness. He's definitely a very good, like, claustrophobic filmmaker because Dog Soldiers, they're just stuck in this house. He's really good at outside horror.
Have you ever been like real claustrophobic somewhere that wasn't a cave?
No, not really. I don't really have a claustrophobia issue. Is that how you say that sentence? No, I don't think so. I've been locked in things as a joke. That sounds weird.
That's horrible.
No, like I've been in like
Natalie, what are you doing to this guy?
The trunk of a car. Like people were like, "Go get in the trunk. We're gonna drive down the road." And it's like, "Yeah, okay." Trying to think. We actually went to go to a haunted house last night, and they had a haunted ride where essentially they just put you in a coffin and they simulate burying you alive.
They shake it.
They just make it feel like you're being buried alive. I wanted to do it, but then I was like, well, all the actors that were walking around trying to scare you smelled really bad, and I think that was like part of the thing. And then from how the porta potty situation looked, I was like, I'm not getting in anything anyone else laid in, so we didn't do it. I should have seen if I was claustrophobic to prepare for the podcast.
Why can't they have a sanitarium?
I don't know.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I do want to do that. I want to go on an event, like just stay all night at a haunted place. Tennessee's got not too far from here, a haunted prison that's been on almost every ghost hunting show ever.
Yeah, I heard about it. I had an opportunity to go sneak into it, but I was too scared.
Yeah, don't do that because it's just littered with cameras around there now. So it might not have been there when you were going to go through it. But
yeah, that was like 2004 when I tried to do it.
I think now they even have guards there. I just want to go ahead and say, just in case it's getting picked up, my dog is whining like a little brat staring at Jason. So if you hear that, that's him. I can't do anything about it. He just really wants to be near Jason. But we can't do that because he'll get tangled up in some wires. And you probably heard the fiddling on the mics last week. Anyways, so I'll just go through some of the actors real quick. There's only about 5 or 6. You have Shauna McDonald, who plays Sarah, the main character. Natalie Mendoza, who plays Juno. Alex Reed, who plays Beth. Sakia Mulder plays Rebecca. Mayana Burring plays Sam. And Nora-JaneNoone plays Holly. Some real easy names at the start, and then it starts getting a little weird because they're all a little, I think, like, I don't know,
They're all
British,
British,
Swedish, and
This
stuff
movie
like that.
was released in the UK before
Yeah,
it
it
came to
was.
the United States.
I actually have some facts we're gonna get to about it. But so I think this movie's like, you know what this movie reminds me of? I feel
What?
like this movie led to A24 movies, like very
A24?
trauma-filled horror movies, or as what do the people call them now? What do they call it? Elevated horror,
Okay.
right? Which is what they like, The Witch,
Oh, I love The Witch.
Hereditary,
And that one.
like
I didn't-
A24. They always do it where it's like every horror movie now has to have a trauma to it instead of
okay.
just people out here dying, dog. You know, like we used to do.
Are you talking about the trauma of her husband and child dying?
Yes, in the most
beginning?
gruesome way
Okay,
ever.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to that. So, this is the film that Neil Marshall is most known for. Marshall's unique take on directing behind the camera, coupled with his vision on what an adventure horror film set almost entirely underground should look like, has become iconic and is just as big of a reason for the film's success as the impressive cast and characters. But what some horror fans might not have known was Marshall was actually pretty close at one point to giving up the entire thing. He just wasn't going to do it. Fresh off the heels of writing and directing Dog Soldiers, the 2002 movie, it's based on a campground, people being attacked by werewolves. Marshall was hesitant about becoming a director only known for creating horror films, which is like pretty much all he does. However, the Descent's plot and themes provide to be different enough from Dog Soldiers that Marshall eventually decided to reconsider and to work on the film. He also insisted on an all-female cast because of the abundance of male-dominated titles in the horror world, with Dog Soldiers also being like that. So he almost didn't do it. That would have been the worst decision of his life.
I wonder why he didn't do it.
He just didn't want to be a horror film guy. He's like, I want to make dramas and comedies.
And rom-coms.
If I became a director, I would only probably do horror movies, truthfully. That's just, they're the best films. That's it. Those films got the dog in them, you know?
Yeah, I feel like maybe he needs to
Dog
do this
Soldiers
because he
in 'em.
doesn't want to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I have to do it so well that people will give me opportunities for other films. So, the film is supposed to be in like Chattooga National Park or whatever, which doesn't exist in real life. It's a reference to the location in the film Deliverance.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah. It does have a lot of Deliverance vibes.
Yeah, it was filmed at the Chattooga River, which I guess is where Deliverance is.
okay.
I've never seen Deliverance. I don't want to.
It's all right.
Despite the film being set almost entirely in the United States, not a single day of filming was spent in the country over the course of the Descent's production.
I knew it.
The exterior shots of the park and cabin where the women are staying was filmed in Scotland, while the interior caves were produced in Pinewood Studios in London, the same place where like James Bond and stuff was filmed.
Cool.
Stuff. The person Simone Bowell was behind the design and construction of the caves that you see in the film. They were considering using real caves, but that's insane.
Yeah,
Way too dangerous. Would not work for shooting a movie. But all the actors were giving rock climbing lessons so that they would be really good at going through the sets that they built.
That's pretty cool.
And I think it was pretty good. I liked it. And one of the most remembered features of The Descent is the all-female cast. It's not only is it refreshing to see a group of smart, resourceful female leading the way in horror film, but it provides completely different dimensions to how a group behaves in such a film. The original plan was for the film to include a more mixed cast of characters with some male characters. When Neil Marshall was told that there were hardly any horror films featuring just women, he swapped these out for female characters and chose to give them different backgrounds, nationalities, and personalities of their own. And Marshall even took the time to consult with all of his female friends to better understand the typical tropes and cliches of horror writers, so it'd feel less like just another scary film. The actors were given the opportunity to inject their own spine on their lines and tweak the ones that they didn't think sounded authentic enough between the group.
Oh, cool.
Pretty cool, right? I think that really adds a lot to this film.
Because otherwise you'd have to sit there and watch a group of girls hang out.
Yeah.
And that's It's got to be terrible.
That's, yeah. Ugh, who wants to do that? Am I right? Sheesh, ladies.
When are they going to have a pillow fight with their tops off?
Come on, guys.
That's supposed to happen.
That was the alternate ending of this. They all just wake up from a dream and just start having a pillow fight.
Yeah.
So, according to Neil Marshall, the crawlers aren't even the bad guys of the film. He said, this isn't about 6 cavers being attacked by savage monsters. This is a film about a happy society of savage monsters being attacked by these girls because they kind of venture out or they distribute as much terror and pain as the crawlers do. So the designs of the crawlers was based off the legendary vampire Nosferatu from the 1922 silent film. You can see it. And,
it looks a lot like it.
Once you read that, it's like, oh, okay. With their pale skin, long claws, and pointed ear, there's something chilling about their look, and the decision to employ actors rather than stuntmen to portray them gives each of these cave dwellers their own looks and personalities. It took about 3 hours to get these actors looking suitably chilling, but it could have been worse. Early designs for the creatures had them suited up with huge googly eyes, though that was thankfully scrapped from them looking stupid. What? Whose idea was like, oh, let's put googly eyes on them?
Googly eyes?
Googly eyes. So when they're running around, they're just like bouncing around. A part of me wishes they did, because then, you know,
that would have been hilarious.
We could pair this movie with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I don't know about the idea that they're having like a happy society down there, and these girls just kind of, you know.
What are you talking about? They're just chilling. These girls is off in a cave. Like, I'm going to go in this cave I shouldn't be in. I mean, they seem to have a pretty good society. I mean, they got meals. They weren't killing people unless you go in there. They're just killing animals. No big deal.
There were so many human bones in there.
Well, they should have thought about that before going in there. That's true. I mean, well, he does call them like savage monsters, but I guess, I mean, it's Juno's fault. It's all her fault.
I guess.
Dang broad. So Marshall has cited 3 horror films as being the biggest influences on The Descent. He says Alien and Deliverance proved to be the influence to Marshall in how to build tension and suspense, with the film going well over a halfway mark before any of the main cast died, but the threat and atmosphere being established through its runtime. The Thing provided the inspiration behind the constant paranoia and suspicion, like throughout the group, whilst the Texas Chainsaw Massacre supposedly helped provide Marshall with the desolate UK ending. Marshall explained how the sight of the film's final girl making out of the house or crawling away from the wreckage had always been the symbol of a happy ending. However, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then The Descent attempted to show that just because someone had escaped from the immediate horrors, it doesn't mean they've necessarily won.
Yeah, she's got lots of trauma now.
Yeah. I can't wait till we get to the ending. I got some things to say about it. So just after the hour mark in the film, Sarah stumbles across a huge, like, it's where the crawlers eat and feed on things.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, like, all the prey that they've been eating. So there's a nod to Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers, because I don't know when she's got the camera to her eye and she's looking around in the night vision, there's what looks to be a wolf. Well, that's a werewolf head from the movie Dog Soldiers.
Nice. No, I didn't notice that.
I was like, that's a weird looking wolf head. I was like, that's so obviously fake. It looks too big and stuff. And then I read this and I was like, oh, it's a werewolf head. Cool.
They got shit on the crawlers, I guess.
Right. So prior to the release of the film's sequel, which Neil Marshall never wanted, a theory surfaced that the entire movie was just a hallucination from Sarah, her traumatized mind, and that she had in fact killed all of her friends in the caves as she descended further and further into insanity, hence the entire name of the film. Marshall actually gave the theory a bit of a nod by claiming that he had in fact removed a silhouetted crawler from the shadows in Sarah's hospital hallucination, claiming that this would have given away that the cave dwellers weren't real.
Whoa.
So I guess, when she's running through the caves or the hospital and all the lights are going down, I guess he was going to have a silhouette of one.
Because that was cool. Like, just her, and then she kind of comes to,
and then it's like
and the hallway is full of people.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
None of them, I can't wait to get to that. I have issues with that hospital and the staff that works there. So, one of the most important features of the descent for Neil Marshall was establishing the fact that the crawlers weren't just another mindless group of monsters terrorizing some women in a horror film. They were an ancient race of cave dwellers with their own looks, mannerisms, and social structures, which is why Marshall chose to have them played by actors rather than stunt performers. As mentioned earlier, the looks of the crawlers were designed by Paul Hewitt and took over 3 hours to get ready for shooting. However, in order to make sure the terror conveyed on screen was as natural as possible, Marshall instructed that the makeup for the creatures be kept away from the actors at all time. That meant that the first time the women saw the crawlers for the first time on screen, it was legitimately the first time they had seen them before.
Oh, shit.
And according to Natalie Mendoza, who plays Juno, when the moment came, I nearly wet my pants. I was running around afterwards laughing in this hysterical way and trying to hide the fact that I was pretty freaked out. Even after that scene, we never really felt comfortable with him.
Oh, yeah.
I love when I hear that about movies. I love it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
They looked horrifying and slimy. Ugh. Why are they so slimy?
I know. I guess because there's water everywhere and they're just constantly running through like piles of rotting corpses.
Yeah, and gross. They're always like oozing somewhere.
Yeah, like whenever they're just breathing and it's like nothing but spit's coming out. It's so gross. I don't know.
And they're just full of goo. Like every time they get hit, there's just goo.
They're
everywhere.
the gooeyest. Like when they pop their eyes out.
Yeah.
So gross and awesome. So gross. So, how much would I have to pay you to go into this cave?
To this cave?
Not knowing that there's crawlers in it, though.
Probably a lot. I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't get.
I guess you couldn't fit. So
I'd probably get like to the mouth of the cave and then turn around and say, "Never mind."
I don't even think I could fit. I think my shoulder is a little too broad.
Yeah.
I think like I'm skinny enough, but I just think my wingspan's too big. Got too big a wingspan.
Caves aren't made for humans.
Yeah, we're not supposed to go in there. Just let the caves be, okay, guys? Unless there's a giant opening and there's no holes to crawl through, then don't do it. Apparently around here they have a cave where you can get on a canoe or whatever and kind of paddle in. Or a kayak. Yeah. You can pay to do it. I thought that would be really cool. Man,
spooky.
I know at Rock City you go down this elevator, this really janky feeling elevator. I think you're like a mile underneath the earth or something like that. I don't know if it's a mile. That might be insane. It's pretty far down though. And I was just like, what if all the lights go out? Like, what if we just lost power? I know they do these tours all the time, but do they have a second way out? Is there like a secret way you can climb up some stairs or something?
That'd be cool if they could turn it into a haunted cave.
Exactly. I think they have to have one somewhere. I'd totally go to it if it was in Tennessee.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Ugh. I just feel like all the screaming though it wouldn't be safe.
Just cause it to cave in.
There's just no way. So you want to get into the film?
Let's do it.
Let's go. That was weird. I don't know. I'm tired.
You know the cave that I went into. Well, they found out later that it had a radon leak in it.
Oh my God!
And
you stayed in there too long. You just started hallucinating some crawlers.
Yeah. Well, it was something like that. It was like there's so much radon detected in there that being in there for 1 hour was like smoking, I think they said like 4 packs of cigarettes at once or something.
Holy crap, dude.
I don't know.
Did you go in it?
Yeah, I was in it for a long time, like 8 hours one day.
Holy crap, dude. You're going to have lung cancer. Yay, caves. How does a cave have radon in it?
I don't know.
What is radon?
I don't know.
That's the true horror this October. Check for radon. It's like the Office episode where Toby's constantly putting these radon packs just so that we know in the office. I think it's radon so they know if they have radon in the office, and Michael Scott keeps throwing them away. It's like, that's the silent killer. And then Michael Scott turns to him, you're the silent killer. So funny. So the film starts off with 3 women rafting. Sorry. It's Sarah, Juno, and Beth. We see Sarah's husband and the daughter. They're watching as they're going. They finish. Sarah pranks Juno by pushing her in the water. Then we see the husband helping Juno a little too intimately. if you ask me. Taking off her helmet, there seems to be some sparks. And we see Beth looking over like, what the hell? Like right in front of Sarah. And then we get kind of one of the scariest parts of the film. Them driving.
Women driving.
God, could you imagine this happening to you?
Oh, God.
Right? Like
horrifying.
In your case, it'd be like your wife and one of your kids is getting impaled by rods.
Jeez, yeah.
It's like it's so violent and gruesome.
Yeah.
And I think this movie, it has to be this violent and gruesome for this movie, so that we can, I don't know, just feel for Sarah.
Yeah.
And it's by the end when she becomes as violent and gruesome as she does, it's like, you have to do that in this world, otherwise it's gonna do it to you.
Oh, God.
Oh man, but whenever we started the movie, it's like I know there's a car crash, right? That's how the daughter and husband dies, and then I saw it and I was like, oh crap. I forgot that they just straight up get killed.
Oh, yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's rough. And then we cut to a dream sequence where Sarah's seeing her daughter in front of a birthday cake. And then she wakes up in the hospital bed. At first, it's like this weird daydream where she's running in the dark halls like we were talking earlier.
Yeah, she's completely alone.
Yeah, and like the lights are slowly going off behind, which is always effective and great in movies. I love when people are in hallways and the lights start going out, and you're just like, "What's happening?" It's just such a real nightmare for people being in a hallway and it's dark. You're running from the darkness.
Yeah,
right.
Or if you're
something everybody does as a kid. I still do it if I get too freaked out.
Or like if you're sitting in a room that has like automatic lighting, and you don't move for a while, and it just clicks off, and you're just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I know. It's like that at work when you go into the locker rooms and no one's been in there, like on the weekends, no one's been in there a while, and you just go in there and it's like, it's dark in here. This is creepy, but I kind of like it. And so as she's running through the hospital, she comes out of her daydream and runs straight into the arms of Beth, who is there in the hospital, and they embrace because her husband and her baby daughter dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just want to talk about this hospital real quick.
Okay. What about it?
She's screaming and crying on the floor. She was just in a hospital bed. She pulled out a bunch of stuff from her arms.
Yeah.
And everybody walking past them are smiling, not looking at her, and just going about their business. No one's like, "Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need medical assistance in this hospital?" It's like, guys, come on. Like someone, like there should be some security officers at least coming up like, what's going on?
And when she took off all the stuff out of her arms and all the tubes out, there should have been like an alarm.
I know, right? That's the thing about movies. When you have people in hospital beds, they always just like, I'm going to start yanking stuff out. And I'm like, I'm sorry, shouldn't there be a squirt of blood or something? Like, I don't think you can just do that and be like, oh, this is fine. I'm not going to be bleeding anywhere. I don't know. Terrible hospital, though. Don't go to this hospital. This hospital, like, 1 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. Call the nurse immediately. Get the tubes out.
I mean, someone should be calming her down and be like, "Lady, we have other patients. I need you to take this to your room, okay? I know you just lost your husband and daughter, but this is crazy."
Hey, you need to be quiet.
And then we have the title screen, which looks like something done. Looks like a presets for something out of editing software. It looked pretty bad. It's honestly probably the worst part of the movie. And we are in the Appalachian Mountains, not too far from here.
Appalachia.
When I saw Chattooga, I was like, wait, is this supposed to be set in Chattanooga?
That's what I thought too, immediately.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, snap. I don't remember that. I am never going to Chattanooga if this is the case. That's not
how you spell Chattanooga.
Yeah, I know. Like, whoops.
They go to the aquarium.
They go to the Chattahoochee, you know, like Alan Jackson said.
In Georgia.
I don't know.
Or something. Or Bama.
That's just also the second thing I thought was the Alan Jackson song. Out to the Chattahoochee, where it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. Definitely cutting that part out. So Beth and Sarah, they're riding in the car together. Beth is super worried about Sarah and says, like, we don't have to go. And Sarah's like, no, I have to. For everyone.
Yeah, I have to. But she's like, we could just get wasted in the cabin. Yeah, sounds like a much better time.
That sounds great. You know what doesn't sound fun? What they're about to do. But she decides she has to go, and I'm sure she won't regret that decision, right?
Never.
Yeah. So the girls, they arrive at the cabin. They're met by Juno. And after Sarah heads in and meets up with her friends, Rebecca and Sam, it's a bit awkward tension between the group because of Sarah. Every little thing that someone says, Sarah's like, "Bleh, bleh. I shouldn't be here, but I'm here." I don't know why she sounds like that. We meet Holly. It's like Juno's protege, or also maybe lover.
Yeah,
seems like that a
I
little
thought maybe
bit.
they were lovers.
Yeah. Well, she says something later because they're talking about, do you have a boyfriend? It's like, I got Juno, or it's like I do stuff to Juno or whatever.
Yeah.
Where's that movie? And we learn that she's an adrenaline junkie. They show an old photo of like Beth, Juno, and Sarah, I believe. And on the back of it says, "Love each day." That's something her husband used to always say. And I'm sure that won't come into play later.
But Holly also talked about this. They were talking about this cave they're about to go to. And they're like,
Yeah.
have you ever been there?
It's like,
And
oh, this is a tourist trap.
I know, but that's what they're saying. Like, this is a tourist cave. Then has no one else ever seen these fucking?
No. So later in the movie, Juno says, "Oh, well, actually, we're not in that cave." Yeah, I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something more adventurous, and I wanted to discover caves for ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do the one with the handrails and the lights and the snack bar.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the gift shop.
Let's do the fun one.
I want that one.
I want to buy a crawler creature teddy bear at the end of it.
Like a cup with a straw sticking out of its head so you can drink it.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be way better than what they're about to do. They're supposed to be exploring a cave that's more of a tourist attraction. And Holly isn't super excited. She says, "Oh, this is going to be boring. I can't just have fun. I have to make sure I'm about to die 24/7. The group, they're just chilling. They toast each other. They're catching up. Holly talks about babies. Sarah gets real sad about it. And it's like, can we not say babies around you?
Yeah.
It's like, just really
too soon.
Gotta watch what you say around her. And then
we
we
baby talk.
Cut to Sarah in bed. She's having a nightmare. This is where the first big jump scare happens, where a pipe goes through her head through the window. I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
And then it jumps to morning, and Juno is waking everybody up.
Stretching like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like she's went on this long run. I'm like, you're about to go in a cave, lady. Like, just do some jumping jacks, get warmed up, and stretch. Like, it's like you need that energy, especially for later. And so the group gather outside of the cabin to take a group photo. And nothing bad will happen from here on out, I'm sure. So they head to the cave. Sarah's driving like a mad woman. As they get there, everybody's getting their gear out, and Juno decides to leave the guide in the car for some stupid reason.
Well, that's the part where they're driving is made me think of The Deliverance.
Oh, really?
They're also driving through the wilderness like maniacs.
Oh, okay.
Like, gotta hurry up and die.
Man, I guess I am gonna have to watch Deliverance. It seems to be it's definitely a big part of this movie, as I said earlier, but I didn't realize it. They're just really taking just parts right out of it. So, Rebecca lists off, as they're walking through down to get to the caves, Rebecca's listing off possible issues they may have down there, like dehydration, delirium, hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just her listing off every possible thing, and like the music starts ramping up, and it's like she's still saying it, and it's like, don't go. And it's like, why are they saying it? Like, she's being so precautious, and it's like, if it's a tourist thing, like, is there even anything to climb? So, and they also run into a dead deer, which is always a bad omen. If you see a dead animal before you go anywhere,
don't go.
Turn around. You're in a horror movie.
I've been seeing the same dead possum on the road on the way to work.
Turn around.
Turn around.
Don't go to work. Take a different way.
I hit it a little bit the other day and it just smelled so bad.
It's so awful. It's like, come on, coyotes, do your job. Get them out of the road.
Oh, the buzzards.
Where's the mountain lions that are around here?
Isn't there like a guy that the state pays to get the animals off?
Yeah, they have like people who like come and get roadkill and stuff like that. Snake. Oh no, Snake, you messed up my notes. Oh no. I did that, Daddy. I did good, huh, Papa? Let me put my butt on you and make it super hard for you to do anything. Snake, what's your deal today? Snake, you're going to have to lay down. Okay, well, that worked.
Don't look him in the eyes.
Yeah, don't. If you look at him, the more he gets crazy. Okay, so when they get to the opening, we see that it's just a giant hole that you have to go down. And then we have Sam. She says, I'm an English teacher, not a fucking Tomb Raider.
Hell yeah.
I was like, yeah. If I was her, I'd be like, I'm not doing this. Why are we doing this? There's got to be an easier cave somewhere.
Tomb Raider's awesome.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the movie?
Yeah, I did. I watched two. There's two of them.
Yeah, I watched both of them. They're so ridiculous.
Yeah,
we should rewatch them.
They're crazy.
When we do like a bad, where we do a whole month of just like bad movies, we should do this. So they make it down safely. We see Holly going down. She's like hot dogging it down.
Raw dogging it?
Yeah, she's raw dogging it down. Juno gets pissed at her. It's like, look, I'm the leader. You follow me. You do all my orders. And it's like, well, Juno, you're going to kill everybody anyways.
Chill pill. Just be on vacation.
So they're all taking this in the sight. It's gorgeous. I freaking love this part. Before all the bad stuff happens, I was like, I'd love to be in this cave.
It looks like that cave that's so deep you can like base jump into it.
Yeah, exactly. It's super far down. But Sarah's walking around. She noticed bloody handprints and doesn't say anything like an idiot.
Just normal cave stuff.
God. Oh, yeah. Wait, I can put my fingers through here and there's blood all over it? I'm sure it's fine. And then she also gets scared by a bunch of bats. And then Holly says, 1 bat, 2 bat, 50 bats.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so good. I love that part. My wife, she says that all the time. She'll do that joke. So we learn that there is only one way out of the chamber, and it's down through a very narrow hole. They all successfully make it out. They're in this giant opening of the cave. They light it up with their flares. It looks awesome. They explore it a little bit. Sarah's looking around. We see a wide shot of Sarah, and in the far right, we see a creature's like silhouette. Such a good shot. I love it. Sarah hears it and looks around a bit, but finds a small opening, and then she turns around and Juno jump scares her, which someone will do to Juno, and it doesn't work out for the person that does it. No, I love this part. It's just the shot of the creature, like he's like hunched over, and then he stands up, and then you got both of them on each side of the screen standing up.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's like, oh crap, there's girls.
I will say that some of these parts in the cave, especially at the beginning, there's a lot of like random weird CGI green screen.
Oh, okay.
It's on my old TV, it's really hard to notice when I watched it in the bedroom. But on my new TV, I was like, oh, that's CGI. That's really CGI.
Just like the stalactites?
Well, it's just, you can tell that it's them standing on a green screen at some point.
Okay.
It's not too bad because it's so dark, but I just thought I'd mention it because I know someone probably saw it.
Because when you're talking about building the set, I just figured they'd made everything out of styrofoam or
yeah,
something.
I'm sure they did, but I think there's just some parts where it was harder to get the shots, and they probably didn't build out the entire space.
Gotcha.
So they were just green screened
How hard is it to build a cave inside?
I mean, it probably would have taken $10,000 to $20,000 for each room that they were probably in. So the gang, they're eating, they're chit-chatting. Juno and Sarah talk. Juno, we find out, left pretty early after the accident and apologizes for it. Sarah feels awkward and there's definitely some sort of issue between Juno and Sarah. And she's like, oh, I'm just going to go walk around a bit. Juno's like, oh, find some place for us to get through. So
find the smallest hole possible.
Hey, if you could just find something that you're gonna get stuck in, that'd be great, actually. So Sarah keeps looking around and finds the next passage. It's an even smaller hole than the last one. Rebecca is second guessing the path. Holly takes the lead, and she makes it out and calls for the group very claustrophobic shots.
Ugh.
There's a part, so the first hole they go through, it's a little silly because the camera's like right in front of them. So they're rummaging through the hole, but they're trying not to look at the camera. So it's like, and I'm just like, it's a little silly, but it's kind of setting up how the shots through the holes are going to look as the film progresses, and which really works for this next part as the holes get smaller and smaller. And it's like, oh, I see what they're building to now. But yeah, Holly just like books it through there, no problem. And so everybody is making it through. Sarah goes last with Beth in front of her. Before she goes in, she turns around because she hears a noise. And when the cave gets super narrow, so in this cave, it starts off narrow, but they also have to go like down a little bit, in where it's just a puddle of water, like to where their face has to get in it for them to get out of it, and it looks awful. So when the cave gets super narrow, Sarah gets stuck. She starts freaking out and panicking. Beth is starting to notice, and Beth turns around to help. I don't know how she turned around. She's trying to calm her down. She's like, "What are you afraid of? The worst thing that can happen to you already happened," talking about the husband and daughter dying. And then she's just panicking, hyperventilating, as everyone was. I'm on the couch, hyperventilating.
It's like that the guy from Best in Show who's like talks down the people that jump off buildings.
Oh yeah,
it's like they all jump.
They all jump. Everybody gets stuck in the cave. They all die. There is no way about it. And to calm her down, she asks, "How do you give a lemon an orgasm?" I had to turn the subtitles on for this part because I couldn't understand anything she was talking about. So she's like, "How do you give a lemon an orgasm?" What do you think, Jason?
I can't remember.
You tickle the citrus. But because she's British, it sounds like clitoris. Because all I was hearing is like, "Oi, how do you give a lemon an orgasm?" All I could understand was orgasm. And then she's like, "You tickle the clitoris." And I was like, what is she saying? I don't know why I'm giving that voice. So that helps her calm her down. She starts to wiggle free, but the cave starts to shake. The worst nightmare everybody has.
Yeah, I think terrible. That's the worst thing that could happen to you, I think.
I think it's one of the first things that people think of, like, when entering a cave. Man, I hope this thing doesn't.
Yeah, I hope it stays up.
I hope there's no earthquakes. But the cave starts to shake. They scurry out of the hole as the whole thing collapses. And she lost the rope bag to make it out, which will cause problems later.
Did she know that she lost the rope bag?
Yeah, she says, "Oh, I can't get the rope bag." And then she's trying to grab it, but then it starts shaking. And Beth's like, "Screw the rope bag, go."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Rebecca says there are 3 ways out. And she wants to see the book. She wants Juno to check the book. Juno says she doesn't have the guidebook and that they aren't in the cave group that they think they're in. She wanted to do something fun and discover a new cave no one has ever been in. And Rebecca's like,
so pissed.
Yeah. I know, be like, "Excuse, you couldn't at least bring the book. Who knows? Maybe it would help you in some sort of way." And Rebecca's like, "This is not caving. This is an ego trip."
Oh, man.
I was like, okay, cool. So we see Sarah's looking around. Her light passes over a creature, and she doesn't see anything. When she passes back over it, it's gone. Juno says everything will be fine as long as they continue moving forward.
Ooh, boys.
And they have to hurry because their lights will run out eventually. So Sam is in the lead this time. She finds an opening, but Juno hollers for her to stop. It's a huge drop off. And this is where we get to a part where it's another nightmare I have when it comes
just
to
falling into a deep dark hole.
No, so Rebecca has to go across with the ropes, and she has to just hang. She's just freebasing it, right? Is that what they call it?
That's where you do
free
drugs.
soloing it. Oh, freebasing. Oh my god, yeah, like freebasing cocaine.
Maybe? Is that what
I think it's like I don't know. She's essentially just without ropes. I mean,
yeah, okay.
I guess she's got one rope to her that the gang's like holding on to, but I don't know. They could all fall if she fell.
Okay.
And so she's just with her bare hands going through and setting up these cams. Is that what they called it? Like camies or whatever, so that the other group can go over easily. But they only have like 2 ropes left, so which is a problem. It's a very tense scene. It looks very painful because. She's just like holding on with one hand. I was like, I couldn't do it. I'm dead.
I'd fall.
I maybe have like 2 chances of doing it. And then she sees that there is another cam and it looks very old. She makes it across. Everybody else goes right before her. Before Sarah goes, she confronts Juno's. It's like, is this more about me or more about you? So it seems
the cave?
Like going through this trip and is she doing it for Sarah or is she doing it for herself?
Yeah, I
guess they really don't like Juno.
I don't get it. Yeah. Like, why is this? How is this supposed to?
Well, it's like her ego trip or something. Like, I'm not 100% sure either, because Sarah at this point doesn't know about Juno and her husband. So, but I think it's just more of like, Juno's pretending to do this for her. But obviously, it's more, I think, because Juno was sad herself about the husband dying. Paul.
Okay.
That's what I get about it, at least.
Paul.
So when Juno goes across, she's like, oh, oi. She's not even British. I don't know why I'm doing that. Oi, governor. She's like, we don't have enough rope. We need all the supplies we can get. So she decides to do what Rebecca does, but the opposite. She's got to take them all down. She says that they need everything to go. So she starts to hand climb. And you think that, oh, she's doing this to get the ropes. But I think she's just doing it for her ego. I'm like, right? It's like, oh, Rebecca did it. I can do it.
Okay.
So she struggles and eventually falls. And this is the part I'm talking about. The rope burn.
Yeah, on her hands.
That's a nightmare.
Oh.
She even had gloves on, but she was falling so fast.
It's hot.
God. And it just destroyed her hands. It looked rough. Like, it's just it's like someone just took a knife and just like carved it.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's rough. But it burns the crap out of her hands. The old cam, it didn't hold up, so that's why she fell. Everybody notices that it's old equipment. I think Holly says that it's at least 100 years old.
Okay.
It's like, why did we trust it? Because she would have made it. I mean, if they didn't use that part, I don't. Yeah. Well, no, she already fell. She lost her grip, but I don't know.
She could have just put another cam up there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 2, 3. You know, to make it a little easier. I don't know. So the old cam, I already said that. So they continue moving. Holly's leading. They come out into, and Holly's is like booking it. They come out into an opening, and they start seeing these old cave paintings. I'm assuming made by Native Americans, I'm assuming.
Like butt prints on the wall.
Yeah.
Like Xerox.
Yeah. But we see it's like there's buffalo, there's a giant mountain, and they see that there's 2 entrances on it. One that they came into and one that I'm assuming is leading out. So like, let's go. We can do this. Oi, we gonna get out of here, governor. So they move forward. They see 3 tunnels, and Juno has this great idea of using a lighter to find the wind, which didn't think about. Super smart. Yeah, make smart. Sure now I have to take a lighter if I ever go into a cave. So, and Holly just like books it. She's like, I'm going. She's not being careful. She's running.
Just run through the
booking
darkness.
It. And it's like, dude, why are you running? Why do you have to be insane?
The worst thing to do.
Like, they would have all been fine if she didn't do this. At least they'd had an extra body to fight. But like, this also leads to more people dying because Juno has to fight for Holly later. Holly thinks she sees daylight, and Juno's like, it's not daylight. Then she falls into a hole and breaks her leg. We find out it's phosphorus in the stones. Her leg is super messed up.
Yeah.
She says, I think I hurt my leg. And what we see a little later is that there's bone popping out of her leg.
Definitely hurt her leg.
Which is also a nightmare of mine.
It's awesome, though.
Because if my bone popped out, and obviously they're going to have to like push it back in, I'd be like, kill me or knock me out. I'm not living through this. I know, Snake. I know. I wouldn't do it either, buddy. So they move Holly. Sarah's hearing laughing behind her. She sounds like a little kid laughing a little bit. Ugh. Sam says they're gonna have to push Holly's bone back in to fix her leg. Mm-hmm. It's like, yikes!
Oh god!
They just give her something to bite down on. It's like, yeah, I don't know. just like choke me or something. I don't know.
Give her another one of those discarded human bones to bite down on.
Yeah, right. Sarah's kind of wandering about. She finds an old hard hat. Then we see like the scene with Sam. She's pushing in the bone. It's so gross.
But that's really painful.
Maybe a little bit. I don't think you're supposed to push bones in because they're not supposed to come out.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. So Sarah's still hearing things. She goes to see what it is, and she finally notices one of the creatures. She just flat out sees it this time. Dang. She tries to tell Juno, and nobody believes her. They think she's just seeing things. It's like, your mind's just playing tricks on you. I'm just gonna believe everybody.
Yep. Okay.
Like, no, you're right. There's demon monsters in here,
let's all get back to back and walk through this
scared to death. It's like, actually, I'm just gonna try to, I don't know, let's just commit suicide right here. Let's jump down that hill, you know? So they move on. It's super tough since Holly's hurt. They continue to follow the breeze. They climb up a small wall, and when they get to the top, they're using Holly's night vision camera. They realize the ground is covered in bones. Eek.
Bones.
But these bones are nice and cleaned off, though.
They are. They're all bleached.
Versus later, you know?
Yeah, beautiful.
It's like they're not slimy or anything. This is where they just discard their other bones. Not the slimy ones. This is their clean bones. They can't find a breeze and start yelling at each other. And then this is when all hell breaks loose because a creature runs past them. They couldn't see it because it's like pitch black in there. They're scared and they all just start scrambling and they pick a random tunnel. They get attacked by a creature and Holly gets bitten by one of them.
These things love jumping on your back
and biting
on
your
neck.
So they can't find a breeze and start yelling. A creature runs past them, but they couldn't see in the dark, so they're scared and they just pick a random tunnel. They get attacked by a creature. Holly gets bitten by one of them, essentially just dies from there. And then Juno's trying to fight one of the creatures off. The creature's like, I won't eat.
Bite her throat out or something?
Yeah, just like straight up, like right on the side of the neck.
Arteries.
Very vampire-esque. And Juno's trying to fight it off. Everybody's getting separated. Sarah's running, trips, and hits her head. Starts seeing her daughter again.
That'd be me. Yeah. I would hit my head on everything.
I'd just be like, wait, hit harder so I die next time.
Ooh, that worked.
Yeah. So Juno and the creature fights. This will end up being in the bad later, but this fight scene, the editing, it's like, what are we doing? Why did we have to? It's seriously a perfect movie, I feel like. And then, like, it's just all of a sudden you can't pay attention to what's happening because they're just going so fast. And it's like you have these stunt people doing it. Yeah. These actresses seem pretty athletic. I feel like they could do this fight scene. And it's just like Jason Bourne, like from the Bourne Ultimatum, whatever, where it's just like cut. And it's like, why did everybody have to do this in 2000s? Like, we don't all have to do this. So, but Juno and the creature fight. Beth goes to check on Juno. She kills the monster with the climbing pick, and then for some reason, Beth,
her adrenaline's pumping.
An idiot thinks, oh, they're being attacked. Juno didn't die. Maybe she killed something with something. So instead of from a distance being like, hey, Juno, I'm right here. Hey, girl, we good? You good? You survived. Come on, let's hug it out. She sneaks up on her and then just gets a pick through her throat.
Just right through the throat.
It sucks.
Like, WTF.
I have a question because this comes up later. Would you have done the same thing as Juno did? Would you have tried to carry Beth or would you have just left her to die?
I mean, probably carry. I mean, at least hang out for a little bit until you know if she's dead or not.
There could be more, dude. They could be right on your butt.
Right. But
her there could give you time to survive.
If you like, but I don't think they're at that point yet. They've only seen like one or two.
They've only seen two.
And I'm like, you should like make sure that you can at least try to help her, like, or like make sure help her while she dies.
Here's the thing. We're straight through the Adam's apple part of her throat. I mean, she's dead. There's nothing they can do. If anything, I maybe would have just, hey, do you want me to try to get you out of here, which is very unlikely since we have monsters in here, or do you want me to kill you real quick?
Yeah.
And then whatever Beth says, like, okay, so you said carry you out of here. Well, I'm just going to kill you real quick.
It's like from Monty Python. He's like, I think I'll go for a walk.
Yeah. It's just a flesh wound, Juno.
I'm not dead yet.
Yeah. So Juno decides to make the decision to leave Beth, and Beth snatched Juno's necklace, which won't come into play later. I'm just gonna keep doing that apparently. I'm being so vague. Oh, God. Sam and Rebecca, they're separated from everybody. They continue moving, and we see like a creature's watching over them for some reason, not attacking. Makes no sense.
They can't really see.
Yeah. Well, but they're like talking and making noise. There are some parts of this movie where it's like, well, why didn't they attack then? Like they're just hanging out. You can hear all the girls talking. It's like, attack? Why are you not choosing to attack now?
They're making plans.
That's what I'm assuming. I guess they'd have to. Sarah wakes up. She is in a part of the cave covered in blood. She's making noises like it smells, and it looks like where they store their food when they eat, and it's super gross.
Yeah, their poop hole.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, everything's like you can't really see it yet, but she uses the night vision camera and it's all gooey. This is actually where you see the werewolf head.
Yeah, lots of goo.
Yeah. And looks great. She hears that the creatures are coming and she hides in the dark. We see Holly falls from above. A bunch of creatures come in and just start ripping her apart. It rolls.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's like right in front of Sarah. She makes the noise where she almost throws up, like, oh,
God.
And then the monster's right in her face, right in front of the camera.
With all the goo dripping down?
Yeah. It's a really dope shot.
Gross.
And it's like, if they're supposed to hear like bats, wouldn't they like sense her a little bit?
Yeah.
From the vibrations?
Or do like a little clicky thing? Like,
yeah.
Click, 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 click. Or maybe scream a little. I don't know. Whatever they do. Yeah.
Some Last of Us stuff. The creature hears and is right in front of her face, and Juno starts hollering for Sarah. Sam and Rebecca find a place to hide because they hear a monster, and they have like the little green lights with them. It's a really dope shot.
Yeah, those are cool. She's holding it like with the axe handle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really good. So Juno is going through the tunnel and she starts noticing some arrows carved on the walls. They got really lucky with that one.
So they didn't draw these.
Okay. No. It's the people that were before, like when you're seeing the helmets, like the helmets and the
old
climbing,
old climbing stuff.
Yeah,
the 100-year-old.
Yeah, I guess stuff. they were smart and made some arrows. Thank God for these girls that they did that. So a creature crawls over Rebecca and Sam, and it doesn't notice them. They're like, oh, it can't see. And then Sam's stupid watch that her husband gave her starts making noises. Luckily, she's able to throw it off.
It's like one of those singing birthday cards that when you open it.
It's like, dang it. I knew I shouldn't have got this. I knew it would come out. Wouldn't be very handy. So Juno hears the watch and starts yelling, and the creature goes after Juno. Rebecca and Sarah's like, or not Sarah, Rebecca and Sam, they're like, oh no, if she doesn't stop yelling, they're going to come get her. Rebecca's like, too bad for her. Sucks for her, but we got to keep going.
Yeah, these girls are so tightly knit.
Yeah, they definitely are. None of them seem to like Juno. Well, everybody's pissed at Juno, and I don't blame them. It's like, well, if anybody should die in here, it should be her. Because she led them, because she chose this cave.
Yeah, without telling anybody.
Without telling anybody.
Right.
She lied to them all. So Sarah is rummaging around in the feeding area. She finds an old lantern.
She finds some McDonald's bags.
Yeah, some just McDonald's bag. Donald Trump's there eating with some of the people because he eats like 50 burgers a day from McDonald's. So she hears that there's some kerosene still left in it, and she pours the kerosene on like a makeshift torch. It's like she rips the shirt off of Holly. Yeah, his body's just like, that's just trying to pull it off. Juno sees a creature as she's going through the tunnels. It doesn't notice her though. We cut back to Becca and Sam. We get a major jump scare as they're traversing the tunnel because they like look through. It's like, oh, it's clear. Go, Sam. And then as Becca goes through, the creature jumps out at Becca. Sam runs ahead. Becca's trying to fight off this creature. It's going to bite her, but then Juno throws her little axe pick thing and saves her. Juno tells them the creatures took Holly and Beth. Sam, analyzing the creature's body, she explains that they're like bats. They're perfect creatures to live in the dark like this. Juno tells them she has found a way out. They are ready to leave. But Juno says she isn't leaving without Sarah. So Sarah's still in the feeding pit. She is hanging out.
Just chewing on like an old piece of
meat.
Yeah,
it's like, this is good. All I had was a piece of toast
Leftover
earlier.
fries.
I mean, really, when you see him eating earlier, like Juno's eating a piece of toast. Sarah eats an apple. I'm like, guys, let's get a good breakfast here, okay? You're about to be down in a cave. So Beth is there, though. We see her hand shoot up, and she gasps out for Sarah. Beth tells Sarah that Juno did this to her. She's like, and she says she shouldn't trust her. And it's like, dude, she didn't mean to.
Yeah, that was a total accident.
And then hands Sarah the necklace Juno was wearing. Beth tells her that it's from Paul and that. Sarah's like, oh, no. And the necklace says, love each day. I mean, Paul couldn't get a different saying on this necklace.
He's got one thing that works.
He's got one saying. And I'm giving it to every girl. Every girl loves each day with me, baby. Beth pleads for Sarah to kill her. Sarah's like, I can't do it. but eventually just smashes the crap out of her head.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that to somebody, though.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I mean, I guess I'd have to if I don't want her to get eaten alive.
And you gotta, like, make sure you do it right the first time.
I would have gave it, like, who knows if Beth is actually dead. I gave her another whack. Just give her 2 whacks at least. And then Sarah gets attacked by a little child creature, a little baby crawler.
Oh.
She kicks its head in, and then we see the mother, hot piece of ass.
MILF.
The mother notices her, and Sarah runs and falls into a pit of blood. This is the most metal part of the whole movie. Gross. It rules. Every shot in this is amazing.
It was cool.
She pops her head up, and the creature starts attacking. She's able to kill the creature using a bone. She stabs it right in the eye.
Antler. It looked like an antler, maybe.
Yeah, it looked like a giant tooth almost. I couldn't tell.
Could have been.
Stabs it right in the eye. It's gushing blood.
Sweet.
She's got to, but as soon as she does that, she has to stay still because another creature is investigating the noise, and I guess it was the husband of this woman creature.
Howdy, I'm home.
I'm home.
What?
Hey, there seems to be some women in this cave. We should say hello and give them. Oh, they killed you and our son. Well, let's murder. It's like Sarah's just laying as she's like gripping the torch, and there's this awesome shot of the creature standing on her. It's so good. And then the creature screams, and Sarah kills it with a bone. And then there's another great shot of just Sarah just standing there with a torch and a bone, and then she starts screaming. And then
feral.
Yeah, and then the 3 other girls hear her. Becca, Gino, and Sam are traveling through the cave. Becca and Sam run off. Gino looks behind her and sees a ton of creatures. It's like this weird, like, jumpy, like the creatures look very, like, jittery. It's weird. They're all running back to where they had to put those ropes, and Sarah destroyed her, or Becca destroyed her hands, the drop off. So this time, Sam is trying to climb across the ropes and set up the ropes. She gets like halfway and stops. Her hands are bleeding from trying to climb. She tries to continue, but right above her is a creature. And the creature slashes her throat. And she's able to stab the creature, though, before dying, and it falls off, and then she's just like, bleh. It's so rad. Man, this movie is so crazy and good. It's wild. It's so brutal. And then, a creature starts attacking Becca and kills her. Juno's just like yeets off the cliff into down below where she got lucky, and it just happens to only be water. I'm assuming she heard the body fall from the creature falling.
She sees the creature in there.
Yeah, she falls, she survives, and the creature attacks her.
It just wakes up in the middle of drowning or whatever.
Yeah. And then she's trying to climb up this the wall to get to the other side, and then Juno is, and then Sarah gets her. It's like Juno's like, "What happened to you?" So Sarah is questioning Juno. She asks about Beth. Like, it's like, Juno's like, "Yeah, she died. You saw her die?" She's like, "Uh-huh." But Sarah knows she's lying, and they continue through the cave. There's a bunch of great shots where they're just throwing flares everywhere. They're like,
that was cool.
They're following the arrows. They're like, screw it. We're using the flares. We're getting out of here.
Hell yeah.
They're following the arrow. It leads them near the exit, but it's blocked by 3 creatures because they knew where they were going. They have to fight them off. It's like this awesome scene.
It was an awesome fight scene.
Yeah, and like the editing isn't as bad as the first time, but so we see Juno bashing one of the creature's heads.
Yeah, axe to the skull.
Sarah bites one.
Hell yeah.
And then also gouges out one of the eyes.
Presses on and the goo shoots out of the eyes.
It's very barbarian.
It's great. I know, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. Sarah confronts Juno. This is where I have a problem with the movie.
This is like kind of.
It's like, okay, come on. Sarah confronts Juno, shows her the necklace, and
giving her the death stare.
Yeah. And stabs Juno in the leg, leaving Sarah able to escape while Juno gets attacked and munched on by them.
So do you think by then she knew that Juno slept with her husband?
Yeah, by then she knew she killed Beth, essentially. She stabbed Beth and left her to die instead of trying to help. And also was sleeping with Paul.
It's context.
Should you? But would you have tried it? Would you still? I would have let her escape with me, right?
Help. Look, like you got to work together to escape.
But I mean, I guess at that point, she's like, everything bad in my life has something to do with this girl. So she's dead now.
I guess. I mean, she kind of, I guess she's kind of like using her as a distraction.
Yeah,
to get out, maybe.
Almost like what Juno did to Beth, right?
Yeah, I
Just
guess.
I'm gonna leave you here, and the creatures will come back and get you, and we'll all be fine. But Beth, you're dead.
Yeah, I don't
But the thing
know.
is, Beth was already gonna die because she got stabbed in the throat, and you don't come back from that.
I know, and she probably thought she was already dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're probably gonna be dead in 2 minutes tops. So we'll see you later, lady.
I'm gonna bounce.
You're not gonna be able to breathe, and you got blood. Because Natalie was immediately, she's dead. Yeah, there's no way she survives that long, right? So Sarah runs through the cave, sees an exit. She has to run up a pile of bones. It's this awesome shot.
She's cool.
She gasps for air. She's going buck wild out there. She's like, just running to a tree.
Hugs the car.
It's so funny. As she makes it back to the car, she drives off as fast as possible. She stops on the side of the road to break down, and a semi drives by and honks at her. And then she pukes out of her car. And then a jump scare of the ghost of Juno.
Yeah.
The end.
It's cool.
Why the hell is there a jump scare of Juno?
Because I guess she's still hallucinating, maybe?
Well, I think it's supposed to be she survived, but when the director said she won, but did they actually win?
Right.
Did Sarah win?
Because she kind of murdered
She's
Juno.
going to be... Because she's haunted by the death of her daughter and husband and now Juno.
Oh, God.
Should just let Juno escape with you. So... Awesome movie.
Yeah,
there's two
awesome.
alternate endings.
I did. Okay, so this is something my wife said that she's like, that's not the right ending, is it?
Yeah, a lot of people know this first ending. So in the alternate ending, Sarah is trying to escape, but instead of her going up those bones, she falls down the hole and just falls. And as she gets up, she looks up and she sees her daughter with a birthday cake right in front of her. And then the movie just kind of ends with her staring at her in this wide shot.
That gave me chills. Just thinking about it.
That's a great ending.
That's pretty cool.
It's the very non-American ending. It's like a very European ending where it's just like, you feel bad now. How great is this? And so that I do like that one. Alternate ending 2 is we see Sarah escape like the original one, but just drives off. She doesn't stop with a semi-truck. It's just you see her get onto the road and then it cuts to the picture.
Oh, okay.
Which that one's okay. I think the best one is like if they didn't have the jump scare of Juno, and she just gets up and she collects herself and just starts driving off, and then it cuts to the picture. I think that would probably that would have been a really good ending. I do really like the first alternate ending with her being in the cave too. I could go with either one of those. I just don't really care for the jump scare at the end.
Yeah,
because I'm like, this isn't that type of movie.
You're kind of thinking like, where did that come from? Like, is it a ghost movie now?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just seemed like the producers like, we need one jump scare to end the movie.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They're like, I don't know, like, what do you want the monster to be in the truck? Like, what is this?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's in the backseat.
It's like, I think that'd be better than just having Juno there. I don't know. So we're going to hit up our categories. The first one is the good, the bad, and the ugly, where we go through and we say what the good is, which is something we loved about the movie. The bad, something we didn't like about the movie. The ugly, something that didn't age well. And the fine, something that aged well. Do you want to start off, Jason?
The good, I just, what they did right was creating the horrifying atmosphere in the cave.
Yeah, they crushed it. Yeah, that was the thing I put down. Horror movie in a cave. Good idea when done properly. The claustrophobia of it.
Taking the real fear and just mixing it in with other things.
Seriously, how well they did portraying claustrophobia. I can't believe it. They did such a good job with it. I love it. And the monsters look great.
They were cool.
Yeah.
At one point, I thought they were wearing pants. Like I saw one. I think it was the very first fight with Juno that wasn't very edited well. Like you were talking about. I'm pretty sure I saw a dude wearing like baggy pants.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to be nude. I mean, just because I live in a cave doesn't mean I don't wear pants. I kill someone and I take their pants. So then we got the bad. What do you think the bad is for you?
There were some things that didn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe it was I was gonna say like how gushy everything was. Like every time you poke one of these bad guys, they just explode with blood. But I kind of like it too.
Yeah, that's a good part. What are you talking about? That part rules. The gore
It does rule.
I put for the bad. I put the editing for the fight scenes.
Okay,
yeah, that was really the only thing I didn't like. Holly's character is a little too over the top and a little bit dumb. But I mean, it fit with her character, but it's like, lady, you have to realize the situation you're in. It's like I just feel like anybody else would have just been like, okay, I'm not gonna run through these caves like an idiot. The ugly, what do you think didn't age well?
Oh man,
it's kind of a tough one. You might agree with mine, so I'll go ahead and tell you. Sarah killing Juno.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I remember in high school, be like, "Wow, that's a pretty crazy ending. That was good."
It's not really a great reason to murder your friend.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that you think she killed Beth, but it was an accident. Beth didn't tell you that she snuck up on someone who just was being attacked by two creatures.
Didn't even give her a chance to explain.
Yeah, it's like, hey Beth, she didn't do it on purpose, you dummy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what? Miscommunication. That's the ugly. Miscommunication never ages well. So the fine, something that aged well.
I think this idea that of people rushing to meet their end, kind of like how they were driving through the woods and they're just trying to get there so fast.
Yeah,
not being careful at all. And I think that ages well because
that's what people do.
Idiots in their 20s. I did it.
Yeah,
I've done it many times.
All these girls are like, because Beth is the oldest, she's 25, so they're still young.
Yeah.
I put the thing that aged the best is it being an all-woman horror film.
Oh yeah, that's
you don't see a lot of those. You see more now, but
yeah, if they would have,
this one just nailed it.
If they would have put in a bunch of like a couple of guys and added stuff, then you would have to add in some kind of like romance.
Yeah, they would add in a romance.
Yeah, you don't need that.
The producer's probably like, well, we have to have a sex scene. If there's a guy and a girl, someone has to have sex.
Yeah.
Surprised like one of the crawlers didn't do it. Like Weinstein pops up and is like, I need these crawlers to have sex. Hey, I'm Weinstein over here.
Real slimy, gooey sex.
Yeah.
Ew,
yucky. All right, we're to our final category, the double feature. What's a movie that you recommend with this movie?
I was trying to think of another like claustrophobic movie.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. I couldn't really think of any. You got movies. Mine's kind of a movie like that. It's called As Below, As Above, So Below.
What's that?
It's so these people. It's a found footage film. It's people go into the catacombs of Paris, and it's a little bit about trauma, hallucinations, things like that. It seems like they're being attacked by something. They're not sure if it's ghosts or like what's going on. It's a really good movie.
That is cool. It's
a movie that didn't get like the best reviews, but I don't know. Everybody kind of loves it that I know. Like buddies Dakota and Devin, they love it, and it's an underrated movie, and I think everybody should watch it. It's great.
That's cool. I guess I could say it's not a movie, but it's another podcast drama.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Anything.
It's by one of my favorite creators, Travis Vengroff, and his spouse, and a bunch of other voice actors from like Norway and stuff.
Yeah.
It's called The White Vault.
Oh yeah, I remember you recommending that to me.
Yeah, it was cool, and like it's all about going into these caves, and there's like weird shit, and there's monsters. There's like usually just like one, kind of like Frankenstein's monster, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. How you kind of never see it, but it's always following you around.
Yeah,
it is. The whole idea of it is just horrifying, and they're always in like these dark spaces like this.
Yeah, I remember listening to the first episode. I think I didn't follow the podcast, so I just kind of forgot about it. But yeah, it's like a mix between The Thing a little bit, but but you don't really. Yeah, just from the setup, I was like, oh, this is very thingy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
This is very thingy. Is
it's
what
very
I just said.
thingy.
That's great. That's a great way to end it. So that's it for this week. Next week, we are doing Trick or Treat. It's a great anthology movie directed by the guy that did Godzilla, King of All Monsters, Krampus.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that's why I wasn't originally going to do it, because I was going to plan on doing Krampus and Christmas.
Still do Krampus.
Yeah, that's true. I'm being silly. I'm just a silly little boy. But yes, join us next week. Thank you for listening. Leave us a 5-star review. Follow us. whatever you got to do, just get the word out. Tell your friends. If you enjoy this podcast, tell someone, please. Just 1 or 2 people. And if they tell someone, eventually we'll grow. And
we'll do more.
Yeah, we'll eventually do more. Like if we inevitably make money off this, we'll quit our jobs and put out an episode a day if we have to, if that makes you guys like us. I don't know. There's a bunch of movies out there. We'll find something to watch. We'll do movies. We'll do TV shows if we have to. But if you want to follow us on social medias, if you want to listen to on a different platform other than what you're listening on now, or if you're listening with a friend and you're like, oh, I don't have this platform, but I'll listen to it on Pocket Cast or Apple Podcasts, follow us on our link tree. It's linktree/We Recommend Podcast. It's the easiest way to get to all of our platforms and places that we're at.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Joey Prosser for our intro. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. We are also on X, Facebook, Instagram. Follow that link tree. You got anything, man? Anything you want to shout out or holler at your boys? You don't have to.
No, not really.
All right.
Don't go into caves.
Don't go into caves, ever. Guys. Hey, and you know what? Love each day. Just like we love you, and hopefully you love us. This has been the We Recommend Podcast. I've been Jesse.
I've been Jason.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.